Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Drive for Life. I'm your host, Brian Martindale, and today we're with the Gupta family from San Francisco, and their son, Yohan, is listed at Stanford Children's Hospital, correct?
Yes.
For a kidney transplant. So we're going to spend time today talking about Johan's story with mother Rushi and their family and learn more about how you can help to become his living kidney donor. First of all, thank you all for joining us today.
So much.
And Rushi, would you start out by telling a little bit about what this is, Johan has gone through to this point and how this all started?
Okay, sure. So Johan was born pretty healthy, like other healthy kids, and he was a good eater. He used to play a lot. And then when we went to vacation last year to India, and
Okay.
there still we haven't found like how he got this, but he got STEC HUS. It is caused by Shiga toxins producing E. coli.
Okay.
And because of that he got hemolytic uremic syndrome. And what it does, it damages the organs. So we took him to ER, and by that time, like doctors, they told us like he's in very critical condition and that he might have multiple organ damage.
Okay.
And so they just started his dialysis because his kidneys were not working. He was not producing any urine for like more than 24 hours. He
Right.
got edema. There was like water filled in his body. So they
Mhm.
started dialysis. He was on hemodialysis for more than 2 months. And then we were airlifted to Stanford from India. And his condition got a little better. He could come off of dialysis. And but now again, his kidney after coming off of dialysis was at 18%. That was
Right.
last year.
Okay.
Now it is less than 8%. So now
So
he's again going back on dialysis.
now is he doing dialysis at the center or at home now?
Right now they will be putting like he has his surgery, like we haven't got the date yet, but they will put the PD catheter in. So
Okay.
he's starting dialysis at home.
Okay. And then at home, because we always like people to know, it's a lot different than adult. First of all, if he's getting dialysis done at a hospital, it's not like going to, a dialysis center that adults go to in a city. And then
Mhm.
home dialysis can involve many hours, usually in the evening,
Mhm.
and a lot of times on a daily basis, where he'll have to go through this every day until he receives a transplant. Is that correct?
Yeah, that is correct. That is correct.
So now, has he gone through the testing to be listed then?
Yes, he is inactively listed. He was inactively listed last year in
Okay,
September. So he's going to be activated like now, very soon.
very
He's
good. Okay,
almost, yeah. So he has to get his immunization done. So after I think he has his second dose, last dose in July. So after that, he will be actively listed.
okay. Dad, can you talk about from your perspective, because this affects the whole family, and we like people to realize everything that you've gone through, tell us how this is affecting. You've had to move. I'm sure it's affected, employment, things like that. Talk about how all of those things affect the family.
Uh, of course, it was like a devastating thing for the family, to me and everybody when it happened. It continues to be a devastating thing for us. It affects our daily life. Like we, of course, like minor things. You cannot do travel and things like that at a whim. Like even before the dialysis started, like even if he's not on dialysis, he still has like G tube in, so he does not eat right now. So
Okay,
he be fed a certain amount of formula and certain amount of water. So he's like connected to a pump pretty much like 60-70% of the whole day. And he has a routine. So it affects us as a family in terms of like the time we have to put into his care,
sure.
which is all worth it, by the way. And it affects like in the hours I can work. So I have two kids, as you can see, my daughter, and she
Right,
also needs the love and attention of the family.
right,
And so it's important that she doesn't feel left behind, so to say.
sure,
She
sure.
has some idea, but she doesn't really understand what he is going through and seriousness of the situation. So I personally try to give a lot of my time to my daughter, especially in the evenings and nights. So like it means like I have to restrict my hours as to like when I can work and things like that.
Sure.
But so far, thankfully, my employer has been like very understanding. I haven't had any issues in terms of like the employment opportunities and things like that. But it does restrict the amount of hours I can put in and things like that.
Sure.
But overall, like we are still blessed as a family to have a good environment to live in and continue to live a life that we do.
Yeah, and that is a blessing because we hear obviously, from some families that have had to move and then having to leave employment for one or both of the family members. And we'll edit around this. Don't worry.
Right. So that
Sure.
just happened. Like my wife, she wanted to start working after like kids grew up a little bit. But with the current situation, of course, like it's not feasible for her to be able to work. So it's a little bit difficult, but at the same time, as I said, like there is a lot of blessing and I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, that's okay. That's totally understandable. So yeah, I mean, it affects you and
I'm happy for the things we do have. Let me put it that way.
yeah, you obviously are a very thankful family and know what a lot of people in your situation could go through, having to give up employment or not being able to work, while they move to find a kidney donor for their child. That happens a lot of times. And then, yeah, I mean, we're very honest on interviews, having it, something like this where, a child is G-tube fed, and a lot of times they go through a lot of this during the day, upset stomach, throwing up, and yeah, it's something you guys
That's
have to
like
deal with.
we travel with this.
Right. That's part of your life. And to most people, unless they're familiar or parents of or family of, they don't realize until they see an interview like this. And we're not doing this, to be dramatic. And that's what we talk about. These are real stories of families like yours, what you deal with every day to keep your son comfortable, healthy, alive, and get him to the point where he's transplanted healthy again, off of a G tube, able to eat orally. We see there's just so many things, of children that are like night and day from the time we meet them. Examples, we've had many children I've met, that are 2 years old or just a little old, they're just ready for transplant on G tubes, like Yohan is right now, and going through all this. And then you see them after they're transplanted. And all of a sudden, like little Matilda, our board secretary's daughter, when she was transplanted, coming off of that, and now you see her running around happily in a park or wherever they're at and eating, we just had a 15-year-old transplanted who was G-tube fed, not on dialysis, but imagine being 15. You try to hang out with your friends. You're trying to go to school when you can, when you're able, when you're not tired. He was sleeping, 12 hours a day at the end in a wheelchair. And then to see him get his kidney, and now he's a normal 15-year-old. He never knew what it was like to feel healthy. And then come off of a G-tube. And then, now you're sitting with your 9th grade class, or whatever, your lunchroom, and you're carrying on. And yeah, so all of this, it wasn't obviously expected in our interview to start with, but this is part of a family's life going through this. We're going to take a short commercial break, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back with more of the Gupta family story and Yohan.
Hi, we're the Soberowski family.
Yeah,
And what's your name?
Bia.
I'm Keith.
And I'm Mallory.
My dad named Keith and dad Mallory.
In December of 2023, Bear had a kidney transplant
Yeah,
at Texas Children's Hospital in Houston, Texas.
yeah.
And throughout the whole process, Kidneys for Kids was right there alongside us. They helped us make the important connections with the media to get their story out there and ultimately help us find his donor.
And at multiple times, they have helped us with financial assistance during a very difficult time where we were living between multiple cities and racing to go to different doctor's appointments to make sure that he could get his kidney and everything went off without a hitch.
Thank you, Kidneys for Kids. We don't know where we'd be without you.
We love you.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Drive for Life. I'm your host, Brian Martindale. And again, we're with the Gupta family. We're talking about Yohan, their son, who needs a kidney donor. We're looking for a living kidney donor to be his hero and give him a new life with a kidney transplant. So we just left off actually showing a little about what he goes through on a daily basis. He was just saying this is common, obviously part of every day. Being G-tube fed, having upset stomach and going through that. And then that becomes part of your whole day area, your daughter. I'm sure how does this affect her, for example?
Oh, I mean, earlier she did not have any issue with Johan, but now she's like, why you're giving all the attention to him because he needs like most of our attention. So
Sure.
now it does bother her, and we try to make it up to her, but I think it's very difficult. It's
Sure.
really difficult when you have a medically complex kid. We are trying hard to make her understand, but she's still not at that age. She's just 6. To have that understanding, okay, he
Yeah.
does need more attention. Yeah.
Yeah, and all she sees is obviously time that, why isn't this time spent with me? And and any child in a family like yours is unfortunately going to feel that way, but obviously you're doing all you can to compensate, and while making it through and intending to everything Yohan requires every day. Yeah, I'm sure this is another thing that you really don't get a break during your day, whether you are working, if you're home, it's what constant attention there and whatever comes up. I mean, are there anything, big things that you think of that, this has really affected you with in the last year or daily or something that people wouldn't realize? Visits to hospitals, things like that. I mean, just anything else that we haven't talked about that's going into his care and everything you have to do. What's all that like?
So he's on like lots of medications to manage his kidney disease. So he's getting all his medicines through G-tube throughout the day. We have to connect him to, he has to get like 750 ml of water throughout the day. He has to get 570 ml of formula throughout the day. So he's always connected to the pump. So
Right.
he cannot just, I mean, he's a toddler, he's 2 years old. So of course he won't sit still. So I'm just carrying that pump, like I'm holding that pump with me, like that bag with me. I'm going around with him. I cannot do anything. Like I have to cook also. I have to do the dishes also. I have to clean also. I have to take my daughter to her classes also. So
Right.
it's like too much pressure on me, too much mental pressure on me. It's just that, I don't know like how to do this. Like it's too much. And then on top of that, he's like vomiting all the time. So we are like always carrying this vomit bag with us.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes 10 to 12 times a day. And it's like it's a lot.
Yeah.
A lot. It's like, I don't live my life. Like I'm a nurse for him like 24 hours a day.
Right.
He sleeps, he vomits, and his formula and all this, and taking care of his G-tube, and then like he's going to start dialysis very soon. Then that one added thing to our routine to it. Yeah.
Yeah, because you're going to be staying up at night listening to alarms going off,
Of
which
course.
is, unfortunately, which comes with home dialysis. I mean, you're not having to travel to a center, but you're giving up the X amount of hours, 7 to 10 hours a night,
Yeah.
7 days a week. And again, we like people to watching this know it is no break. You're not asking people to feel sorry for you. You're just telling what's actually going on and what a parent like yours deals with a medically complex child and what will change, what can change after a kidney transplant. So my part today is I just tell people I'm 63. I'm running around with one kidney now. My other one was given to a girl 12 years ago, and she's 23, healthy, and working on a doctorate degree. And seeing this, and seeing what can happen with seeing these other children we've had transplanted, we're at 14 children that we've helped match now. We know Johan's life can be at 180 and be healthy and free of all these things being fed through G-tube, the food, the fluids, the constant monitoring, the constant sickness, upset stomach, all that can change with the kidney transplant. So we have somebody watching that's interested. How do they go about contacting Stanford Hospital to test for Yohan?
So, we have a transplant coordinator at Stanford. Her name is Jen Burke. So she can be contacted at 650-498-7421. She's amazing and she can answer all the questions. You can ask her anything. And if you cannot reach her, she has Carla. Her phone number is 650-724-8236. Just tell her like whatever informations you need, any question and all, and they will be very happy to answer.
Right. And so they're testing for Yohan Gupta, and just repeat his birth date because they will ask that.
So his birth date is October 5th, 2022.
Very good. And just so you know, ladies and gentlemen, at the end of this episode, we'll put all this in the ending credits. But Mom, we just wanted to make sure all that was in there. The testing process is, first of all, you're just matching on blood type. And we don't really push blood type in these interviews because I'm sure you understand paired kidney donation. So if somebody comes forward that's watching this, and we don't want to say a specific blood type, because if you're not Yohan's blood type, you can donate a paired donation through Stanford. You would donate to somebody you totally match, and in return, that would produce a voucher for Yohan. And then that next kidney that totally matches him, he's pushed to the top of the list, and he gets that kidney immediately afterward. So we want everybody to know it can be a direct donation, it can be a paired donation. We just want you to come forward, use this information to contact Stanford and test on his behalf. And I'm just a living testament. With one kidney at 63, I run around like I'm a 30-year-old with the energy of, and you can do the same thing and have a rewarding life and save a life here. So I want to thank you guys for joining us today.
Thank you so much.
And we'll have this available, like I say, on Monday night at 7 p.m. and then on demand after that. So thank you again, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us for another episode of Drive for Life.